How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Dragon's Den, and today I'm going to try to cover what could be seen as possibly a more positive subject compared to what we've been dealing with in the last few days with the recent commander bans and everything. A lot of upset people about that, but maybe people can see this as a bit more of a positive note about some things to come. I guess it really depends on your opinions on Universes Beyond, but that's a topic for another day. But there's already been some leaks for Universes Beyond Marvel. I believe they said that we're going to get 2 Marvel sets next year, if I'm not mistaken. I know we're guaranteed to get at least one, and there's already been some leaks for it, so we're going to take a look at those real quick and talk about them for a second, and just, I guess, kind of give our opinions on it. So let's get to the first one. Wolverine, best there is. I'm assuming that all of the main characters, or all of the bigger Marvel characters, are all going to be legendary, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of new commanders coming out of this set. So yeah, first, Wolverine, best there is. It's a 1 green, 1 red, 1 generic for a 2/2 mutant berserker hero. So with hero being a creature type, I can only assume that when some of them get shown off that villain is also going to be a creature type. Let's see, it has unrivaled lethality, I believe is what that said. All these images are going to be a little blurry. Double all damage Wolverine would deal. So that's pretty good on its own for, so it's a 2/2, but it's kind of in a way it's a 4/2. But doubling all damage it would deal, which means some of the green removal effects where, like, a creature you control deals damage equal to its power to another creature your opponent's control or something, it'll kind of double that up as well. It could make it really good in that sense, for better for the removal. Also really good to throw equipment on this thing or something like that to just deal crazy amounts of damage, because with it dealing double damage and everything else, it could honestly be a very solid Voltron commander already, and we hadn't even got to the second and third lines of text. So at the beginning of each end step, if Wolverine dealt damage to another creature this turn, put a 1/1 counter on him. So that's not bad either. So he's going to double all of his damage. And now if you decide to block it, if you block it and don't kill it, he's going to get bigger. So, and it really just says, if Wolverine dealt damage to another creature this turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. So you could put fight effects in your deck and have Wolverine fight a 1/1, and now all of a sudden it's a 3/3, or it just deals damage. So you shoot something for damage and you put a 1/1 counter on it. So that's not bad at all. And then you can pay 2 regenerate Wolverine. Now, how regenerate works is that the next time he would be destroyed this turn, instead tap him, remove him from combat, and heal all damage from him. So that's not bad. You could swing, and if they choose to block with something bigger that would kill him, you can pay the 2 to regenerate him, and then you don't lose him. Or it gets around board wipes, things like that. So with regenerate, he may be hard to get around. Let's move on to the next leak. Next leak is Iron Man Titan of Innovation. 1 red, 1 blue, 3 generic, 4/4 human hero with flying and haste. So he's a hasty flyer. I think that says Genius Industrialist. Whenever Iron Man attacks, create a treasure token. Then you may sacrifice a non-creature artifact. If you do, search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed artifact's mana value. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So basically, it's birthing pod for non-creature artifacts when he attacks. So he swings and it gives you a treasure. You can sacrifice your treasure to get a soul ring. Then next turn, sacrifice your soul ring to get a signet. Sacrifice your signet to get a commander sphere. Sacrifice the commander sphere for a Panharmonicon, and then so on and so forth. And the whole time that you're tutoring through your deck getting these artifacts, you're also filling your grave with artifacts as well, along with making tokens. So say you didn't want to sacrifice your soul ring. Well, he attacks, he makes a treasure. You sacrifice your new treasure and go get another 1-drop. So That could definitely be good. It's going to be a way to really, really quickly put a bunch of artifacts into your graveyard, and then you could play something like a Scrap Mastery or something along those lines and just bring all of your artifacts back. So it's pretty good. I'd say it's decent. It's neither one of them so far I've been like, ooh, wow, that's extremely powerful, but they're both playable so far, Wolverine and Iron Man. So that's not bad. Next, we have Captain America First Avenger. It is Jeskai. Who would have guessed that? The Captain America is red, white, and blue. And that's exactly what he calls to cast, is one white, one red, and one blue. He is a human soldier hero, and he has throw. So for 3, unattaching equipment from Captain America, he deals damage equal to that equipment's mana value, divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. So you can remove an equipment from it, and say you had like a Sword of Feast and Famine on here. You pay 3 to unequip the Sword of Feast and Famine, and you can shoot something for 3, or shoot 2 things for like 1 and 2, or shoot 3 things for 1. And then he has Catch. At the beginning of combat on your turn, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to Captain America. So the way I would see this working is, like, if it's going to take a little bit of setup because you want to get some equipment onto him. So the way you could do this is, if you want to try to get a bunch of equipment on him, is you go to combat, attach an equipment for free, swing Captain America, and then in your second main phase, unattach it and shoot something. And then you just repeat this process and everything else. And then re-equip it in the second main or something like that. So, or probably the better way to play it would be, get some equipment on it, unattach it in your first main phase to shoot something, and then go to combat and reattach it. And, it's basically it's just like him throwing his shield. You're going to throw pieces of equipment around the board. I don't think this will be, like, we're talking power level. I don't think it'll be super, super strong, but I do think this will be an extremely fun commander to play. And last on the list is Black Panther Wakandan King, which is 1 white and 1 green for a 2/2 human noble hero. And it has first strike. Survey the realm. Whenever Black Panther or another creature you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target land you control. So whenever your creatures enter, you're putting 1/1 counters on your lands. And then it says Mine Vibranium. So you can pay 3, move all +1/+1 counters from target land you control onto target creature. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters are moved this way, you gain that much life and draw a card. So this is a little interesting because it's not as straightforward as some other 1/1 counter kind of synergies. So rather than just putting 1/1 counters directly onto your creatures, it's putting it onto your lands. And if you want to put the 1/1 counters onto your creatures, you have to pay 3 mana. The benefit to paying the 3 mana is you also gain some life and draw a card. This could be decent. I'm sure there is a way to break it, because it says whenever Black Panther or another creature you control. So it's another creature, not another non-token creature. So in theory, you could play like Avenger of Zendikar, right? It's going to make a bunch of tokens when it enters. So say you have 8 lands, you play Avenger, you get 8 tokens. Well, now I'm going to put all 9 counters on this 1 land. Well, now I'm going to pay 3 mana, move all 9 of those counters onto one of my creatures, and I'm going to gain 9 life. So in a sense like that, it could be really, really good. I think finding ways to make a bunch of creatures at one time and then land animation would be like the best way to play this. So I'm thinking things like White Sun Zenith, Survey the Waste, things that you can pay a bunch of mana into to make a bunch of creature tokens at one time, to put a bunch of 1/1 counters on your lands. Avenger of Zendikar, Hornet Queen, Scoot Swarm. Scoot Swarm would be another really good one for this. Just anything really, like, I think you want to go a token strategy here. So I think you want to go wide rather than go tall, even though it's a 1/1 counter deck. And then say you get a creature with trample, and I think you want to bank, or at least how I would play it, is bank all of your 1/1 counters onto one land. So rather than spreading them around, you bank all your counters on one land over time, and then it just one time you gain a bunch of life and move all those counters onto something with trample or something like that. I think would be the absolute best way to play. And the more I talk about this guy, honestly, the more I get excited about it, because I think it's not as straightforward as you would think. When I first saw 1/1 counters, my first thought was like, oh, go big. But then there's also the fact that Mind Vibranium can be done at instant speed. So say you bank a bunch of 1/1 counters on a land, now all of a sudden every single creature you swing is a threat. And see, I didn't think about this. So now you have all these tokens from your Avenger and you swing them. Well, this person can't block, so it's like, okay, I'm going to move these 9/1/1 counters onto the one that you couldn't block. I had 5 attackers, you had 4 blockers. Now this big 8/8 is going to hit you, or 9/9, or whatever, Or with Hornet Queen, with the flyers, you start moving stuff on there like that. And then for things like Hornet Queen and Avenger, and I'm sure there's some other things that make several tokens when they enter or whatever, or leave, you can put in like Teleportation Circle and Conjurer's Closet, which either way, even if you're not targeting your best targets, you want to have some decent enter the battlefield effects in this deck to be able to blink them like that. Panther Monocon, Aura Shards, there's a bunch of really... This could be a really, really, really good deck, honestly. I'm kind of a little surprised at how good this deck actually could be. And it may or may not... In my opinion, I'm going to say right now, I think Black Panther is probably my favorite out of the 4 cards that have been spoiled so far. Obviously, there's more spoilers to come ahead. I don't know exactly when the Marvel set comes out and everything else, but I definitely can say that while I haven't been the biggest fan of Universes Beyond in the past, I am excited for the Marvel set because I am a big Marvel fan. And I probably got to rambling here a little bit, but that's because I started reading this card and really kind of absorbing what it did, and I just completely started brainstorming on it just at an absolute instant. So, I kind of apologize for that. I'm sure I'll do some deck takes on these guys in the future and everything else. But let me know about what you think about all the Marvel leaks down below and everything else. And are you excited for the Marvel set? Or are you not? How do you feel about Universes Beyond? Let me know. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.